Alright guys, do you feel woke today? I'm feeling woke, and I want to ban the phrase "I stand with Ukraine" because it is offensive to people in wheelchairs. That's right, people in wheelchairs, they cannot stand for Ukraine. They cannot stand for anything. And when I see this term, "I stand with Ukraine," I just feel really offended on behalf of people in wheelchairs. So look at all this. We have all these t-shirts and badges and other paraphernalia saying "I stand with Ukraine." T-shirt after t-shirt here. And we even have this wife beater t-shirt here. The sleeveless wife beater in black. And just imagine you can wear this t-shirt while beating your wife. You can stand with Ukraine while beating your wife. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that wonderful? Here's a hoodie. More hoodies here. My wife is Ukrainian. Nothing scares me. Just a bunch of other crap here. Look at this. Ghost of Kiev. Now this story came out like on day 1 or day 2 of the invasion. They were saying that some Ukrainian fighter pilot like shot down 6 Russian jets and they started calling him the Ghost of Kiev. It turned out this story was absolute nonsense. There is no Ghost of Kiev. And yet you can buy the t-shirt with the Ghost of Kiev spreading propaganda essentially. More and more t-shirts here. This one here, "Stop Wars," done in the font of Star Wars. And this is all highly offensive to people in wheelchairs. You've got so many people in the world in wheelchairs. They cannot stand for anything. They cannot stand for Ukraine. They can't even stand for Russia. And this phrase, I think, is getting really obnoxious now, and it's highly offensive. And chief among the offenders is J.K. Rowling. Now, she's been in trouble before for making comments about transgenders, and here she is saying, "I stand with Ukraine." And she is offending millions of people in wheelchairs in the process of doing this. Here she is with the Ukraine flag emoji. And she says, "This is one of those times I wish I could really do magic." Jules, she's replying to this guy Jules. "Dear J.K. Rowling, what was the spell Professor McGonagall used for statues to protect their castle? I think we need that here in Ukraine." So here she is virtue signaling, "I stand with Ukraine." Now here's this woman called Trisha Greenhalgh. She is a professor of primary care in Oxford. She was recommended to me in Twitter. I think she's big into the whole vaccinations and masks and all that stuff. So Twitter loves her. And look at her profile picture. It is a blue sky with these yellow sunflowers and this backdrop here, the same picture. And she also has the hashtag "I stand with Ukraine" in her profile name. And she has the flag of Ukraine emoji. So she's going all out here. She is standing with Ukraine. Here is Jennifer Rubin. She's a blogger and she writes at the Washington Post. Now here she is. Jennifer, "I stand with Ukraine Rubin." So she's actually changed her middle name to "I stand with Ukraine." And she has not just one, but 2 Ukrainian flag emojis. So she's really showing her support for Ukraine. Now I have a question right off the bat here. When these people, Rowling and Greenhalgh and Rubin and all these other people, when they type "I stand with Ukraine," were they actually standing when they typed it? Because I believe, and I'm almost certain, that all of these people are actually sitting on their asses when they type this crap out. "I stand with Ukraine," as they sit down typing. They don't even stand to type out "I stand with Ukraine." This is how phony these people are. But I'm going back to my original point here that this is highly offensive to people in wheelchairs. Now look at this article. This is from lowaids.com, mobility and daily living aids recommendations. So this is geared towards people with mobility issues, people in wheelchairs and so on. And this article talks about 10 inspiring famous people in wheelchairs. So let's have a look at these people. So we have Aaron Fotheringham, and he is like a BMX guy, skateboarder. And here's an image of him on the ramp, the skateboarding ramp. And he's just doing all these stunts in a wheelchair, amazing stuff. And here's Christopher Reeve, the Superman actor, became paraplegic after he fell off a horse. And he died a few years later. Franklin D. Roosevelt, he was in a wheelchair and he did his best to hide it from the American public because he didn't want to appear weak. Frida Kahlo, and the interesting thing about her is that she has a huge following among woke people. And I find it interesting that the woke people haven't latched on to this offensive term yet. And this is why I'm making this video. I want to give a shout out to all the woke people to make them aware of this. So here is John Hockenberry. He's a journalist, author, and commentator. He was in an accident while he was hitchhiking on the Pennsylvania Turnpike in 1976, and that left him in a wheelchair. Mika Fowler, he's an actor and disability rights advocate, and I wonder if he's going to take up the cause with me and try and get this offensive term banned. Here is Nick Vujicic, and this guy is incredible. I've seen some videos of this guy. He's an Australian-American Christian evangelist, and he goes around the world giving these motivational talks, and I've seen him give a couple of these talks, and literally I was actually in tears watching this guy. I was welling up watching this guy, and I don't cry very often, but this guy, not only is he in a wheelchair, he actually has no limbs at all. He doesn't even have legs. He's got no arms, no legs, and this guy gives these incredible speeches to especially like younger people in high school and so on, teenagers. Anyone who goes to this guy's talks, they're in tears. This guy is such an inspiration. Of course, we have Stephen Hawking, one of the most intelligent guys who've ever lived, and this guy was diagnosed with ALS, or motor neurons disease, at the age of 21, and he defied all odds, and he lived until he was 76. Tanni Gray Thompson, she's a Welsh politician, TV presenter, and before that she was a former wheelchair racer, won tons of medals in the Paralympics. And finally here we have Tatiana McFadden. Now this is probably the most interesting one on the list because she's actually a Russian-American Paralympic athlete. She was born in St. Petersburg, Russia. Now how do you think she might feel if she sees all these people saying, "I stand with Ukraine," which in other words is, "I stand against Russia"? That's essentially what you're saying when you're saying, "I stand with Ukraine." And this woman is in a wheelchair. She can't stand for anything. And she sees all these people standing for, or they're saying, "I stand for Ukraine." Highly offensive. I'm surprised the woke people haven't latched on to this. And I'm going to show you some examples of where the woke people have stood up. Here we go. We have Ban Bossy, a self-censorship campaign launched by Sheryl Sandberg's group leanin.org. Sheryl Sandberg, she's the chief operating officer of Meta Platforms, which of course is Facebook. So the campaign criticized use of the word bossy to describe assertive girls and women, proposing that the word is stigmatizing and may discourage girls and women from seeking positions of leadership. So they want to ban the word bossy. Well, I want to ban the term "I stand with Ukraine." And here's one. Here's a great one. University bans clapping to avoid triggering anxiety. So jazz hands will be used for inclusivity. Students will likely no longer clap during student union events at the University of Manchester, which is in Manchester, funnily enough, England. According to a September 28 issue of the university's newspaper, the Mancunian, the student union passed a resolution that effectively banned clapping at student union events, favouring jazz hands instead. So here we go. Clapping your hands is triggering. Let me try something here. You triggered, guys? There we go. You guys must be so triggered right now. I'm clapping my hands. There you go. Like, if they can spot the fact that clapping is highly offensive and triggering, then surely they could see that "I stand with Ukraine" is so incredibly offensive to people in wheelchairs. And here's just one more example. Is the term master bedroom problematic? Industry experts say it's time to call the room something else. And it says here, this article has been updated. What do primary bedroom, owner suite, and master bedroom all have in common? So I was explaining what a master bedroom is. Of the three, master bedroom is the only one currently being re-examined, leading many industry professionals to phase it out of their lexicons altogether. And this all came about because of the whole George Floyd thing. They want to ban the word master. And it's not just master bedroom. The term master is used a lot in various fields. So there you go, guys. J.K. Rowling stirring up more controversy. I want to start a campaign to ban this "I stand with Ukraine" hashtag. So guys, if you're on my side, please like this video, please subscribe, and more importantly, share this video as far and wide as you can. We need to ban this term because, you know, people in wheelchairs, they're so offended by this, and we have to get the word out. "I stand with Ukraine" is highly offensive. Spread the word, guys. See you later.